He looked me straight in the eye when he said it. I consider this disloyal. And just like that, my building access was revoked. No warning. No conversation. No thank you for the 8 years I gave him, just a cold dismissal, and a faint smirk that said he enjoyed it. I nodded, smiled, and walked out with the kind of silence that hides a storm, because inside, something had already ignited. He wasn't just my boss, he was my wife's father. We shared family dinners, played Sunday golf, sat together in hospital waiting rooms when our daughter was born. I believed he respected me. That he saw my loyalty, when I worked overtime, took pay cuts so others wouldn't, covered for him when he blanked out in meetings. For 5 years, I quietly asked for a raise. For 5 years, he said, now's not the time, while buying a third house in Marbella. Still, I stayed, for my wife, for the family, for the hope that one day, merit would matter. But the moment he heard I interviewed elsewhere, just a conversation, not a resignation, he labeled me a traitor. No questions. No interest in the rising tuition bills or the suffocating mortgage. He cut me loose like I was nothing. And oddly, I wasn't angry. I was clear, because that wasn't betrayal, that was revelation. He'd shown me exactly who he was, and I wasn't about to let that go unanswered. That night, I got home. My wife asked how work was. I said, productive. Then I made love to her like nothing had changed, because she didn't need to feel the storm. Not yet. The next thing I did, I dusted off my old backup drives. What he forgot was, over those 8 years, I wasn't just working for him. I was building systems, processes, algorithms, and I kept everything, every source code, every architecture diagram, every NDA violating shortcut he made me implement behind closed doors, every recording of him laughing about manipulating client data to inflate valuations. 2 days later, he got an email, subject, concerning potential violations. Immediate attention required. Fake, of course, but real enough to get his heart pounding. Inside, an anonymous whistleblower summary with timestamps, file names, and hints of audio clips. I knew him. His ego wouldn't let him go to legal. He tried to bury it himself, like he always did, while he panicked behind closed doors. I made my next move. My friend Tariq owed me a favor. I helped him land a cybersecurity role there last year. Now, he had admin access to their entire network. He didn't ask questions when I called. I asked for every email my ex-boss had sent in the past 6 months, especially those marked confidential. What I got was gold. Turns out, the man who fired me was preparing to push through a fake acquisition, selling company assets to a shell corporation he secretly owned. He was planning to wipe out employee equity, including my wife's. He thought firing me would keep it quiet. He forgot one thing: quiet men remember everything. Over the next week, I built the package: emails, bank statements, shell company documents in offshore accounts, neatly connected. Then, I hired a freelance journalist in Berlin. Sent her everything, let her run her own checks. She didn't need long. While that story simmered, I invited my ex-boss to coffee. We met at the Four Seasons. He walked in, smug as ever. You here to beg for your job back? He asked. I smiled. No. Just wanted to say thank you. For what? He asked. For clarity. You freed me. Now I can finally do what I do best. He didn't understand, but his face twitched. I paid the bill, left him with that itch in his chest, and let the clock tick. 3 days later, it all exploded. Front page. 2 Major business outlets. CEO accused of fraud, insider theft, and falsifying valuations. And my favorite part, the embedded audio clip, his voice, crystal clear. They won't find out. We bury it under 5 layers and let the lawyers sort the smoke. That wasn't just a quote, that was evidence. Stock dropped 47% overnight. The board, once loyal to his charm and steak dinners, voted him out by sunset. My wife found out the same day. She cried, not because he was exposed, but because she finally saw the man behind the mask, the man who even used her as part of his schemes. She looked at me. Did you know this was coming? I looked her in the eye. I knew, something had to. In the weeks that followed, investigations piled up. The SEC got involved, clients pulled contracts, employees lawyered up. He went silent, but I didn't. I sent anonymous letters to former staff, urging them to sue for wrongful terminations. I leaked the fake NDA clauses he forced interns to sign. I even helped an old engineer friend launch a competing platform, built on cleaner, better code. The same code I had written. I wasn't just taking him down. I was erasing the lie. Last I heard, he's in Dubai. Trying to rebuild, let him that he can build all he wants, but no one forgets the man whose voice is tied to fraud. On public record. As for me, I started my own consulting firm, small, quiet, fully mine. People ask why I left my last company. I smile and say, culture shift. Funny thing is, he always warned me not to burn bridges. What he never understood was, I didn't need to. I just built a better one, right next to his, and watched his collapse into the river, without a word, without a scene, just a smile, and a well-timed silence.